This is my bergamot. This is my bergamot. As you can see, it's looking quite green and lovely. We've had a little bit of rain here, so got a little weeding to do, but that's all right. So that's my bergamot. And I'll be talking all about that in this video. The uses, magical uses, from what I've read and researched, the medicinal uses, but also the personal uses that I have for bergamot.
Hello Circle Gatherers, it's Miss here. I just wanted to do a quick video on some of the research that I've been doing for my Ancestor garden. I had listed a number of herbs that I have growing, and this year for fun I thought that I would keep up my Materia Magica and start listing the Latin names for the plants, the elements that they're related to, the planets, the signs when I could find them, the magical correspondences, the physical correspondences like for medicinal uses, my experience personally from each of these herbs, and any warnings or any information that I could find on them. So one of the herbs that I have, well, it's a perennial actually, that I have growing in the garden this year is bergamot. So a lot of people know bergamot from Earl Grey tea. It comes from Italy, from an Italian city called Bergamo, which is why it's pronounced Bergamo, obviously. And I was walking around for years pronouncing it as bergamot. Anyway, it's not bergamot, it's bergamot. So the Latin name for bergamot is Citrus bergamia. I hope I didn't butcher that. It's related to air, which makes sense because, well, when you hear some of the medicinal uses and even the magical uses, it makes sense. The signs that I have found from various sources are Gemini, Virgo, Aquarius. The planets, again, from various sources are Mercury, the moon, and Venus. So Mercury makes sense when I think about drinking tea, it's very much about communication and correspondence. That's at least for me when I think of tea leaves, because that's how I use bergamot. Although I did find a recipe where some people grind it, or they use it with a cornstarch powder and bergamot essential oils, and they use it for luck. They'll powder it on themselves when they go gambling. A lot of witches that are gamblers out there. I'm not one of them. I don't have the commitment to do it, but anyway, for you gamblers, if you wanted to try that, I can certainly line you up in the right direction for that powder. So anyhow, the magical uses that I have found, obviously for luck, it's an ingredient in glory water, which again you would use for luck, together with frankincense and orange blossom and H2O, so water. So you could use that with an asperger to kind of asperge around the area that you want to use it with. It's used to break hexes, to open people to love. It improves your mood with other people especially. It can bring you prosperity and confidence. Personal uses for me and my experiences, I have found it uplifting and calming, but of course I drink it in a tea, and anytime I'm treating myself to a cup of tea, it is very uplifting and calming, because it means that I've put myself I've given myself some time. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I've given myself some time to appreciate the moment. I'm living in the moment. Medicinal uses. It can help lift anxiety. Tea does that. If you look up why people think about when people drink tea, it's usually to talk. It's usually to talk or to think, you know. Anytime anyone ever comes to my house, if they want to talk, God, here in Atlantic Canada, we put the kettle on. Put the kettle on because someone's going to have a cup of tea. That's just what we do. Have a cup of tea, talk about what's going on in somebody's life. Sometimes all they need to do is talk. So it can help lift anxiety. Could be a placebo effect, but I feel like it actually does help. If you have it yourself without another person there, you'll probably notice that. It's balancing, it's calming, it can help with grief, with sleep. It consists of alpha, pinene, and limonene. Anyway, I'm probably butchering these words, which are terpenes found in citrus and coniferous essential oils. And both are natural stimulants and antidepressants, and they improve digestion. It can help improve digestion and relieve frustration. So remember, if you are using an oil, a lot of bergamot is phototoxic, unless it states that it's not, that it's bergamotine free. Anyway, a lot of it is phototoxic, meaning if you put it in a cream or if you put it in an oil and you wear it, you're more susceptible to sunburn. But apparently bergamot essential oil used regularly on skin, now you probably have to use a carrier. And please remember, I am not an herbalist. This is my research and this is what I found. I find it interesting. If there's something that speaks to me, I'll look it up a little bit more and I will experiment, not without talking to my pharmacist first, if I'm on specific medication. Again, please, if you're going to try to heal yourself, make sure you're doing it effectively and speak with your pharmacist if you're on any kind of medication. Apparently, it will help keep skin free of infection or disease and help keep hair shiny. It's a natural antiseptic and an antibiotic. Oil can be helped to use for eczema and acne. Bergamot oil will also help even out a skin tone by evenly distributing, because it helps evenly distribute the pigments in the skin. So anyway, and then apparently the oil naturally reduces fever and body temperature. So for an oil, it said use 15 drops to 1 tablespoon of carrier oil. I would test that out first. If it's too much, I would increase the carrier oil, or even better, speak to someone that you know who's an aromatherapist. I know a couple of them, and I might just say, is this too much bergamot for my skin? Look at me, I'm of Northern European descent. I do want to be careful. Room diffuser, 15 drops for a 2-ounce distilled in a spray bottle with distilled H2O. Anyway, like I said, speak to the professionals. This is just the fun research that I've done. And it's interesting to work with an herb, especially in your ancestor garden. As I've mentioned, my garden is going to be all about keeping calm space this year. Not just for me, but for the people in my household, and maybe even, if I'm lucky enough to make some gifts this year, I can distribute them around to some people, and hopefully I can help them as well if they're open to it. But do your research, and remember, this is mine. So this is something that I find useful to help me get better acquainted with my yard. And of course, this is kind of what we're all doing this year. We're trying to kind of get back to the land now that we're not out there socializing like we once were. So anyway, if this speaks with you and you want to give bergamot a try, then give it a try. You'll never know unless you try to experience it, if it's for you or not. Anyway, many blessings. I hope you have a wonderful day.